So thanks to the Phantasmafia's coordination, I have just finished the time heist of my first 8 hours in Galaxy's Edge, and I know that with a friend group that includes Tony Goldmark, David Gansel, Charlie and Haley Callahan, and more, I'm a pretty redundant third wheel, but I want to speak out anyway because see, in my reluctance to ever leave Batuu, I've been consuming vast amounts of Batuu-related YouTube content, and can I just say I was thoroughly charmed by the LA Times' coverage specifically.
Sounds like we got a little electrical problem.
We're doing an interview and you want me to reboot the ship?
Yeah. Did you do that? I think it's gonna work, yeah.
Sure, some of it was a little sarcastic and snotty.
This is a real Star Wars bathroom. This is amazing. I don't know what anything is.
But you could tell they were really getting into it as they went on.
Chewie wants a rip. Oh, there he is.
This is one that I will not give my kid because it's mine. And kids can't have everything.
I am currently wearing one of these Sith robes that hopefully my editors will let me use the corporate card on. I feel this $250 robe is absolutely vital to do my job as a reporter.
I don't want to gossip, but one Todd Martins of the LA Times is like really taking a while to figure out what he wants to do.
I love watching real reporters have to cover this stuff. It's adorable. And I couldn't help but notice that in the midst of all the tips, tricks, Easter eggs, and first impressions, there is one very important thing that I think isn't being talked about or appreciated nearly enough. And it feeds directly into my one and only real concern about the land going forward. See, if I was going to give a visitor to Galaxy's Edge any advice, anything else I could say would be a distant second to this one thing. If you really, really want to make the most of your visit, you have to engage with the land. And I don't mean just getting a picture with the stormtroopers. I mean asking a random cast member villager how long they've lived in the outpost. Ask why it's called Black Spire. Ask if their families are from Batuu. Ask if this is what the weather is usually like. Where are we in the galaxy and what is the First Order doing here? Has anything bad ever happened in the Den of Antiquities? Who is Oga of Oga's Cantina and is it true she once dated a Wookiee? How did that go? How is Hondo managing the Porg infestation? My guess is not well. So go on, just try greeting the nearest cast member with bright suns or high moons if it's nighttime. Using in-universe language is a good way to signal that you are really here to play. It might seem cheesy and awkward, but I promise it's not if you just give it a try. And if you really are just lost in Disneyland and need directions, remember you don't literally have to call them refreshers for them to point you to the restroom. Local jargon is still a thing in space. And cast members know that some people just want the bare minimum. Ride the ride, drink the milk, build the droid, go home. It's a good time in Disneyland. But the villagers, the actual people who inhabit Batuu, will probably share their stories with you if you want to meet them. I know I do. And I know the guys got a lot of lame footage of me on my phone, but that's because it's really fun to pretend to hack into ship logs and intercept encrypted transmissions. One warning though, the Disney Play app seriously drains your battery, so have a spare. Right now, everyone is a Star Wars character. Everyone. Even you. There are still limitations on the world, like V and Kylo can't really interact yet, and Kylo and Rey can't even be in the same area at the same time, but the whole story is right there, and it's waiting to be explored. Right now, everyone is all in. And I think that is the most precious and most precarious part of this whole ambitious experiment. Right now, going to Batuu is so much more than just going to Disneyland. Because you have to make reservations, it requires a certain degree of commitment. It isn't something you can just wander into casually. If you're in Galaxy's Edge, it's because you actually want to be in Batuu. You're not just looking for a shortcut to Frontierland. And that level of commitment, I believe, could be the first thing to go for both the staff and the visitor. Can cast members maintain in-universe theming when someone has just gotten lost on their way to Sleeping Beauty Castle? How do you keep the experience unique while also opening it up to everyone? And I really want to keep some distance between Batuu and the rest of Disney. I want to be slicing droids and intercepting transmissions on my datapad far into the future. I want Galaxy's Edge to keep adding new layers of interaction, updating the app and deepening the lore and the connections to Star Wars canon. I want to believe this project is in the hands of people who are fully committed and value the unique power of what they've created here. I don't want the more moderate voices to prevail. With the crowds currently small and the budget for all of this very, very high, I can easily imagine those voices asking why they can't have Obi-Wan or Luke Skywalker walk-arounds, and all this lingo, all the references to high suns and bright moons. Isn't it sort of cheesy? All the other Disneyland areas have been mismatches of different films and themes. Why not this one too? What makes this place special? And that would be it. It would stop being a trip to another world and start just being another trip to Disneyland. It would stop being Black Spire Outpost Batuu and start being Star Wars Land Anaheim. Still fun, but no longer special. That's why I want to cheerlead for Vi Marati and the Disney Play Datapad and encourage all of you to be getting more invested in experiencing everything Batu currently has to offer. You don't have to go full Star Wars LARP to dip your toe in, for example, the whole charade of Savi's scrap metal workshop and the conditions under which the Gatherers have to do their work. This is Star Wars. No detail, no character is too small not to get a backstory, and that's how it should be. If it's allowed to develop organically, I think in a couple years we could have a thriving fictional world we can barely even imagine now. And I want to see that. Please play the long game, Disney. It'll pay off if you just keep believing in it. Seriously though, Disney, you have to start paying these people what they're worth. It's not funny. Not everybody is a student. Some of these people are in the job because they love the job and they deserve a higher quality of life. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.